I'm intrigued to see maybe how Dokkaebi has an influence, if any, if that then opens up more hard breach possibilities, etc. I think Clubhouse has potential to look a little different to how it did a couple of months ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch these two teams navigate a map that clearly has, I mean, a lot of history behind it in terms of, we know how it should be played. We know how it typically does get played. Certainly this man on our screens, and Nico, will know firsthand and has that experience. But you have two teams that clearly, are not at the EP and Chiefs level. That's fine. Not everyone is going to be. Otherwise, this would probably be one of the best regions in the world. Evidently, it's not. And so you're going to have a situation where it's all about the learning and the growths and what you can take away from these matches. And as I said, I think for Arcade, that's not Syra, that's Jake Kenner. Obviously, I think they're at a point where they're going to use this stage as a really good learning opportunity. 6TARGETS may be similar as well, although you think about a player like Nico, who I think is the oldest player in the region. He doesn't have a lot more learning time in him.
Yeah, look, I think in terms of long-term prospects for the team, Karma for me stands out as being the big name on the team that has potential, if he can prove himself once more, to potentially find opportunities elsewhere, or maybe even elevate this team to a level where they are competitive for a top 4. Still very early days. I don't know if stage 1 top 4 is particularly realistic for them. I mean, it's certainly possible. I know last night I think I made the point that they are, in contention, and I think that's more so based on the thought process that the 4th slot kind of feels open to anybody. But still a lot to develop here, and a lot of development for this team in particular to be undertaken. So Clubhouse is a good test for them. I think we might see a better 6TARGETS on a map that's better known, more structure, and against a lesser opposition in comparison to EP. They might just have a little more confidence and not necessarily be forced into a lot of these isolated fights and getting slammed by the 5 best players in the region, etc. They might look a little better here on Club, and I'm excited to see if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want this to almost be too doom and gloom really either. I think there's actually a lot of positives that you can get from a match like this for either team. If Arcade were to win it, that's a good growth early in the stage, good bounce back from day 1. You get a win on the board, and then who knows what can happen then for the remainder of the stage. I kind of look at that 4th slot, certainly for playoffs, as being quite wide open. I don't think you could really make the argument that one team has that one under lock and key. If you have Man LFO, Chiefs, EP, probably the likely favorites for 3 of the 4 slots. I mean, who is really the next team that is not guaranteed, but likely? You got Barbie Boys, Arcade, Academy, Rival, 6TARGETS. I don't think there's one that screams off the page as, yeah, they're guaranteed. They're going to get that 4th slot. Let's move on to playoffs. So Arcade, if they can get the win here, they enter that category, they enter that conversation. And on the flip side, 6T likely then fall away from that, barring a significant comeback later in the stage. And on the flip side as well for 6TARGETS, if they can win this comfortably, deal with Arcade, put Arcade as the low-ranking team in the region, then they can turn their attention to playoffs as well. And as I said, Karma, certainly as an acquisition for 6TARGETS, gives them some good firing power. You got Nico, older head. So it's really then, can King, Orion, Zethi, can they, really formulate a cohesive unit around Nico and Karma and really supplement them well to be a solid team overall. But at the end of the day, you're talking about a team that also was 4th ranked coming out of Challenger Series. You can't have too high expectations.
Yeah, I think that's very much a fair way to frame it. And I suppose another compounding factor as to why there feels like there's quite a big emphasis on 6TARGETS doing well today is you look ahead at their fixture. Played a 3, the final game of the night against Chiefs. Played a 4 Barbie Boys, played a 5 Man LFO. So the 3 after this are going to be quite tough. They'd be going in as the underdog to all 3 of those matchups, unless they do a miracle tonight, and then maybe if they destroy Arcade, Barbie Boys, they could be going in on a bit more of an even playing field potentially, depending on how other matches play out. But that's why there's an emphasis on this one, because it does feel like on best opportunity to get some points towards the standings and keep that top 4 dream alive. Apologies for the delay as we load into this one. Just a couple of issues being sorted in the background, but we should hopefully be jumping into Clubhouse in a moment's time.
And looking ahead to the schedules for these two teams, just to kind of get a little bit of a glimpse, since this is the last game of the day for Playdate 2, then everything starts back up again next week. 6TARGETS play Chiefs, Barbie Boys for next week, and then after that they've got Man LFO, then Rival, and then they close out with Shy Academy. So I mean, the schedule for 6TARGETS actually I think looks pretty nice on paper, where they get probably on each of the given weeks, where they get one team that is probably going to be a bit more difficult, one team that's going to be a little bit more of an even competition, and it's somewhat similar for Arcade. Next week they play Rival, but they also play EP, so the Rival game is probably must win. The EP game, good luck. Then they play Barbie Boys and Shy Academy, and then they close with Chiefs. So I mean, the path forward for both teams is, I think, pretty decent for the winner of this game, and then maybe a little bit difficult for the loser as well. So again, as much as I don't want to circle this in as the be and all, where I think the reality is you probably don't lose this game and make top 4. That's where it really is drawn the line. I don't think you could lose this and then go make top 4.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair.
And if you win it,
assessment.
it doesn't guarantee top 4, but it helps.
No. Well, we've just had word that the game is indeed ready. So let's jump into the final best of one of the night. Arcade, 6TARGETS, in what feels like a big match for both teams' aspirations to finish top 4.
Yeah, big game. It's got the ramifications attached to it. It's also a good opportunity to see where these two are really at in contrast to each other. If this ends up being 7-5 OT, I wouldn't walk away from this game being as down on the loser, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But if it ends up like a lot of the other games that we've had so far this stage, and it's anything 7-3 or below, well, I mean, then there's some worrying alarm bells for the loser of the game. 6TARGETS begin on defense, good spot here on Clubhouse, and certainly I think could give them the edge early on, puts the pressure straight onto Arcade Esports to see if they can get some early attacking rounds. Gym Bedroom, the opening site choice rather than basement. Not totally left of field, certainly a very strong defensive side on this map. Bans, Dockerby, Deimos, so removing a lot of the, what I would say, easy pressure operators from Arcade. And Arcade probably the kind of team, certainly ranked players who want to abuse these sort of operators, take those away. And the Kaid and the Mirror, certainly more of the structure from the defensive side of things, banned from 6TARGETS. We're underway. Final game of the night here for Oceania.
Yeah, and over to Bedroom first. 6TARGETS, they'll be eager to try and build and establish a foothold for themselves to play off, and
10 seconds left.
defense naturally can be a little more comfortable, but the numbers on Clubhouse can sometimes be a little all over the place. Often comes down to the matchup and at times how the bans play out. And with the full belt of Hard Breach available to the attack, I expect defense to have to work overtime to deny those critical walls, and we'll see that likely here in the first round with the Bandit Castle Tuber out combination from 6TARGETS, which will be, I presume, largely utilized to defend Jacuzzi Wall, with some utility peppered on the opposing side of the map on Kennels as well. Defense should be prepared for that and bringing the utility to deal with it. As I say that, the attack has elected not to bring any EMPs, although with the Blackbeard Garage, it's pretty straightforward to march forward and shoot that or util it off the wall.
Yeah, pretty default looking setup right now for 6TARGETS. Nico catching the feet of Syro. That's unfortunate for the Blackbeard. The whole point of the Blackbeard is to get up close and push them out of these positions with the shield. Syro just gets tagged up heavily from the onset. Despite this breach pressure from Arcade Esports, 6TARGETS still very much holding top red. Cash not just going to fall back because of the time. Karma wanting to repeat, got a tiny amount of damage onto Wizard. They know there's one at the con window. He can't get out of Cash alive, but it does not matter. Nico continuing to land his shots. Loyal, a good headshot back onto King after he got one too. Leaves us all tied up 3v3. It also means position gained for Arcade. I'd consider this somewhat of a win, although of course Syro is still very, very low. they have got themselves through cash. They can get into con, and the last objective now is the site.
Yeah, the one-shot Blackbeard, though, is very, very concerning. All it takes is for Syro to put 1 foot wrong. And 6T with a well-placed shot will be able to find that, and in doing so, be up 3-2, and should then be able to close out the round. Maybe the Snake, though, could be a point of difference for the attack. Gaining information, Logi, almost an opportunity presents, but not quite. Syro to take that space. 35 seconds on the clock. And as you can see, Syro having to play so carefully at the moment. He cannot put a foot wrong.
And just notice that Sword is in, by the way, substitute for 6TARGETS. He's making his debut. Ryan with the headshot onto Wizard. And Sword with his debut kill onto Syro. That means 6TARGETS will take the opening round. A good little contest over towards Cash. Left things equal, but once it came to the site, too much of a task for Arcade. Oh, sorry, I forgot King is Quincy. These bloody names. Sorry, it is Zethi that is out tonight for Sword.
And we'll see if that does have an influence on their performance tonight. Typically not ideal to be playing with a substitute, but at times as well it can work out. Replay package of that previous round. 6TARGETS doing a good job to pepper a good amount of damage. Cash side of the map. In particular, Nico, who opportunistically got that Blackbeard down to 1 shot, and Syro then forced into a very, very precarious position for the final push. And despite Arcade doing a good job in nullifying the extension, getting it back to a 3 versus 3, they were still at a pretty significant disadvantage with the Blackbeard so low. And it was then difficult to leverage the information that they were gathering from the Snake. It's down to basement for round 2. And the expectation here from Quixie on the Vigil is probably to execute a roam and to try and stall out this push for an extended period of time. And that's the benefit of Dokkaebi and the Vigil, or pardon me, the Dokkaebi and the Deimos both being banned out, is that he'll have a little more freedom off site.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the opening round, though, the fact that it got 3v3, good contest, sure. Once it got to the site, 6TARGETS were pretty locked down. Just get an early sense, especially with that opening kill from Loyaleth onto Karma, who starts 0-2. We might have a game on our hands. So far, 2 rounds in, and that's been not bad from Arcade. More work to be done, but a 5v4 opportunity on the basement side of Clubhouse leaves them in a solid position. Oh, Wizard at the window catches King, trying to rotate back down through Secret on the Vigil, and he gets caught. That's now a 2-player advantage for the attack. And leaves Sword thinking about wanting to counter-aggress over towards main stairs, but he might have to fall back. They might have to just cut their losses here. Although, they don't. Sword decides to hold the angle at main stairs. It's an easy peek for Loyaleth, and he teaches him a lesson. It gets from bad to worse for 6TARGETS. His defensive hold has been absolutely shredded. Arcade on the verge of getting themselves an early attacking round at home basement as well.
Orion and Nico then to aggress over towards Secret, and Nico plucks 1, but Orion in the meantime did fall. Nico's good, and he does have the clutch gene about him, but with 4 members to find, I think that this one is going to be one of the more difficult of his career. Minute on the clock as well, as the Sharks begin to circle Nico inside of Church. Does a little damage onto Syro. Swing to follow, taken low, but overwhelmed, and Arcade take round 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most strategically won round, is it? They just win a couple of gunfights, and the round kind of just unfolds from there. So if you're 6TARGETS, you're not going to sit back and think, boy, they picked our brains and kind of beat us with strategy. They just kind of ran and gunned, and that's kind of what you want to take away from them ultimately on this map of Clubhouse. You want to deny them the ability to win rounds like that, and yet in the second round, 6TARGETS are giving it up. Now, admittedly, you don't really always want to just play 5-stack basement. It just gives up too much map control. It's a very defensive-minded approach. But you do need to be careful because Arcade, I think, are the kind of team that can certainly run around the map and shoot heads. And they did that really nicely. Loyal with 4 kills inside 2 rounds. I think if you're 6 targets, it's keeping this as default as possible, especially on your defensive side of Clubhouse. That's where you can make things more tricky for Arcade. You want to force them to beat you by having to go into the strat book.
Initiating jammer. Device activated.
10 seconds to go.
So over to Cash then for round 3.
5 seconds to go.
And yeah, I'm also intrigued to observe sort of the strategic depth between the two as the match progresses and whether or not that actually is a decisive factor or not. Arguably 6 targets will be the ones that are hampered a little bit with the substitute in play tonight. Although so far Sword holding his own and now committed to the double rafters stack alongside Karma. As for the attack, just the one dedicated primary hard breach wizard on the Thermite. The rest of the utility, namely the Capital, probably the Lion as well, indicative that Arcade are going to shape up for a rafters clear this round.
Yeah, don't opt to bring shield play to combine with the Capital and really lock down that rafters hold. But in return, you get the sledge. You can certainly open up con side of the map as well, go for a pinch later on. Don't have to put all your emphasis in clearing rafters and making that your absolute sole mission. Does give them some flexibility on the attack for Arcade. Breach opened up. That's a pretty good job considering it was being contested by the Bandit. That's a win for Arcade through the early checklist. Oh, lovely angle though from Sword. Loyalith wasn't quite ready for it. Maybe thought he'd be standing up at the window, but he's holding prone and watching this angle vigilantly. 2 kills for Sword.
Yeah, putting the Org to good use. It's particularly strong at the moment. And on a position like Rafters where you can hold down the line, it is difficult for Arcade to clear. Looking to try and connect that utility with the line down. It makes it tough. Snow as well. Chip down. It's looking a little messy at the moment from Arcade as Karma aggresses, but just needs to contain himself. Doesn't want to give away anything here for free. Has shadow advantage and looking to exploit that as Wizard creeps up. Sword falls. Karma cashes in. Karma still with the shadow advantage and looking to exploit. Just needs to be careful now though. His team has the man advantage and gets caught. Wizards walk straight in the breach. You can see the call from Karma. Wizard looking to overwhelm 40 seconds.
Oh, big nitro from King. No more nitros remaining, but might not be needed. Hazes and Snow. Shoulder peek into Orion. Orion doesn't hit shots. Landed 1 bullet tag though into the shoulder of Azes as he makes his way into Garage. 20 seconds doesn't leave them a lot of time remaining. Snow and Azes need to try and play off each other as the duo. King with a good angle to watch, making sure they can't push up into Orion, playing over towards Cash. 1 up close left. That's Snow. He wasn't ready for it. Got the downer to Azes though. Snow needs to win the 1v2. Hold your position. Don't need to swing here. Orion will make sure that Snow has no real time. Orion has played that perfectly, guys. He couldn't have played it better. Holds the angle, baits him in, buys a lot of time that even if he dies, there's very little time left to stick the plant, and he still had a teammate up. 2-1 lead for 6 targets. Much better in Cash and CCTV.
Yeah, it was good work from Sword initially, the Debutant, to make that Garage clear a little more precarious. Without the Lion, Arcade started to get a little bit stalled out. The real only blemish on the mark of the defense there was allowing Wizard to send it deep, but that's pretty understandable. It was a brazen play. It worked out initially, but then that too fell short of the mark. The Snake and the Bandit to be banned out for the remainder of this half. Gym Bedroom, we return, and 6 targets looking to extend this lead defensively.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
But some good work from both teams so far at the moment. Again, early phase of the match, and we've said it before and been wrong, but fingers crossed this ends up actually shaping up to ultimately be a close matchup for one that has big implications regarding the top 4.
Yeah, but it's early days, and I think so far we've seen good things from both teams. Which gets me excited that hopefully we can get a close
10
contest.
seconds to go.
Been sorely missing so far this stage of OCE.
5 seconds to go.
Especially when you factor in, you're bringing a sub into this team as well with Sword. His first ever time playing at the tier 1 level as well. He's been playing tier 2 basically for the last year. And most recently played in Rivals very much not that long ago. He was playing for Mattress Esports, which was a combination of Sword, Scars, Owen, Karma, and Molosca. Of course, gets to play with Karma once again, now on 6 targets. They did not make playoffs either in that tournament, so it's a big step up for Sword.
Yeah, he's played well so far. And good exposure of him as well at this level of play. As into the 4th round we go, and it's double primary hard breach for Arcade. Hibana being utilized to counteract the castles on the exterior, and Wizard able to create a traversable hole over towards Jacuzzi. Exterior con as well exposed. Pretty straightforward and easy work with the Bandit and the Kaid banned out, of course, but still done in a timely fashion. Curious to see as to where Arcade actually want to spearhead the push. If it does end up being direct facilitated by the Blitz, do they then split that elsewhere maybe? Drop Logi, push up main. Options are aplenty as Karma finds himself under fire below and currently pinched with Jacuzzi opened.
Ooh,
Takes the fight and wins it. Yeah, Sword elsewhere wins his. King falls, still advantage 6T.
Turning into a bit of a nothing kind of attack though for Arcade, but it's based off the fact that 6 targets just had some good angles over the last 10 seconds, found 2 kills, disrupted the attack, what they wanted to do. You deal with the blitz, so you lose a little bit of that pressure that you can bring later in the round. Obviously, the Thermite's already done his job. Jacuzzi's opened up. And the Snow over towards this balcony position has to get a kill. Nico is the one that jumps out con of all players. And he does convert his kill and looking to solidify this round now for 6 targets. Just starting to get the edge in this game, but it is on defense. Realistically, this is the kind of matchup where 2 for Arcade could be job done in the half. They'll have 2 more opportunities, but it's down to Loyalith and Azaz in this 4th round to try and clutch up 2v4. Somewhat possible. Karma low on health, so is Nico. They have to do so quickly.
Okay.
Here's one.
They got good information on that drone before. 2 defenders low. It's possible. 15 seconds.
But they have split themselves. They're going to go for a split. Tam. Oh, shot in the back. Nico not ready for the drop down outside con window. And then able to clear out Karma and Sword by himself, and he too will fall, and it is a huge clutch. Arcade Esports stealing the 4th round away from 6 targets. They got lulled into a sense of comfort. Holding stuck positions in a 4v2. They just went flat foot. They just weren't doing anything.
Yeah, that was a big play. I think that's a case of 6 targets on defense. Maybe just expecting them to wave the white flag, throw the towel in, double stack Jacuzzi, walk in, and they know that that's impossible to lose or near impossible to lose. But instead, we saw a direct pivot there from Arcade. Just prior to that, there was a really good drone that went deep sight. I don't know how much of a factor that was in the late round, but certainly the drop con side was. Karma did some good work mid-round, so too Nico, and as it stood, minute on the clock, 2v4.
Yeah, 50 seconds did nothing. And what, like Nico, just the way he's just standing there, I mean, that is a poor position to be in. There's 12 seconds left on the clock, so you can play
10 seconds to insertion.
sloppy. And that's sloppy, because your back is quite literally the con
5
window.
seconds to go.
And even if you think, as you're kind of alluding to before, that they might wave the white flag, push Jacuzzi, or they drop Logi Hatch. And I think because they heard the rappel, they knew he went on the roof. Nico's probably thinking, okay, it's Logi. But what if it's not? And it wasn't. And so position better for the alternatives. And certainly with 10 seconds left on the clock, guess what? You can also just play to give them sight and force them to go for a plant in red time, where then that's 1 less gun up and then you just sweep back in and kill them. There's so many ways they could have played that better. That's on 6TARGETS. As much as a clutch as it was for Arcade, and don't get me wrong, they played that perfectly as you can in a 2v4. Now, boy, they got given a free round to have a go at because 6TARGETS played it awfully.
So 2-2 scoreline, to basement we go. And it's a bunker down strat from 6TARGETS. Leaving that map control essentially for free and available for Arcade. Who will bring the Vert on the Bark, Hardbridge, Havana. And then they can combine the Capital and the Grim for late round XE utility. Don't have dedicated flank watch, though they do need to be somewhat mindful of flank up secret or main, but that is incredibly unlikely. A lot of trap utility on offer here from the defense. The Denari and the Arena combination is pretty potent. Arcade also will be conscious of the Goyo and looking to bleed out those canisters throughout the round so that they don't get trapped late, especially if a kitchen plant is their primary objective.
It was our first multi-kill round as well, through 4 rounds played. As is with 3. Yeah, and it's forced now 6TARGETS to play this 5-stack basement because they know they're starting to lose some of these battles. Arcade clearly, they've got some good firepower. It's kind of what I said earlier after the second round. I mean, if you're 6TARGETS, just try and play this in the strategic level. Now, force Arcade to have to deal with the utility, the time. Even if it's a 5v5, there's only 50 seconds left. Like, this is perfect right now for your 6TARGETS. It's a very difficult site to flood into. Certainly with the tripwire connectors placed the way that they are as well. Offers an extra layer of protection. 30 seconds doesn't leave Arcade a lot of time. Then they start making their move in towards the site. They lose Loyalist straight away to Sword. He goes up to 4 kills, having a good debut. Ryan gets aggressive though. Did not really need to. Does not matter. They've got the numbers to cover for the trade. And now Az is stuck over towards Blue, and they know exactly where he is. Can't let him out of here. They do not. 3 in the round now from Sword. Well, sometimes when you're a new player, you got to take your opportunities when they're presented. He's up to 6 kills as Syro. The time runs out, or he dies, he dies. As 6TARGETS respond again. A little bit back and forth here in this first half. Neither of these two able to string together 2 in a row.
Yeah, and look, I think ultimately a good response from 6TARGETS. Would have been quite easy to drop their heads after the round prior that they should have won bedroom. But they reset, they back themselves, they go for the bunker strat late, a lot of trap utility, they played into it nicely, their positioning was quite good. They need those shots required, and with that a narrow lead heading into the final round of the half, as you mentioned, neither able to string 2 together. 3-3 would certainly be fair, 4-2 is salvageable for Arcade. It's shaping up to be an exciting one between these two. CCTV and Cash to be the next site of choice. I wonder what the approach ends up being here from Arcade. Do they shape up and go for Garage once again, which faltered last time, unable to get the Lion into action? Or do they try and pivot and go con side? Both approaches, even with these bans, are going to be viable.
5 seconds left.
It's been an entertaining half, that's for sure. Hoping that can continue into the second.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
4 to 5 opening kills in favor of 6TARGETS. Pretty normal, I guess, when you're playing defense clubhouse. You're more likely than not to win the early engagements, but Arcade have done really well in a lot of these rounds to still make 6TARGETS work for it. Last time out on Catch CCTV in the 3rd round was a pretty similar looking lineup for 6TARGETS. The 2 changes that they've really made, they drop the Bandit and the Mute, they bring the Jaeger for more catch, and the Malusi.
Yeah, 2 minutes on the clock, and 6TARGETS continue to poke and prod around, but the onus now very much so on Arcade to make a move. what kind of belt of util they wish to play here for Rafters, which is going to be the target once again. They have a couple of frag grenades. They can combine that with the Capitao. Karma does have a decent amount of catch and support with the Jaeger, but burning that alongside the Wamai is certainly still possible. Midpoint, Arcade will begin to make their move. Going down below from Snow, indicative that maybe he starts thinking about a bot red play or at least having some access to lounge. Slow going at the moment for the attack though.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, it's been at times a pretty slow pacing half, but it doesn't mean it's a bad thing for Arcade. Once they get Rafters control, and if they can do so successfully, the side is obviously not far away.
Nah,
it's Karma that gets the first kill.
They screwed up the util, unfortunately. At least they get the trade though, so not the worst outcome. 4 versus 4. Sword still on Rafters.
Lose the Blackbeard. I don't like that. It means that you don't have the shield to push up Rafters. So pushing up Rafters now is still quite difficult. You know, the Sword playing the double stack. And it's going to buy even more time. They do get the clear though. The Sword had that peek earlier that worked. He tried it again. Loyal catching on to him. So finally Rafters control. 30 seconds, not a lot of time. They don't need to be losing Wizard there though. That's super unfortunate for Arcade. Finally, as they got some decent control close to the site, they lose that numbers advantage, and time is still not on their side.
And King in a perfect position. So difficult to dislodge with Nico holding the line. A limited utility. Wrap up the half. It's over. 6 targets taking the round on defense and setting us up for a very, very interesting next few rounds.
Well, Nico having some fun on the cameras as per usual. Having fun inside of the server as well at the moment. 6 targets, 3 of the last 4 rounds to close the half. A bit more of a contest here in that first half after certainly the clutch back on Jim Bedroom in the 4th round. But 6 targets do edge out for 2 half. Arcade go on defense. The next few rounds certainly interesting. This is by no means going to be a given for 6 targets on their attack. I think Arcade will be pretty difficult to break down. Kaid Bandit bans along with Dockerby and the Solid Snake. Does leave Deimos available. Immediately selected by King.
Yeah, the belt of utility just prior to that replay package starting was a little off. Not burnt correctly. It meant that Karma wasn't properly flamed out. and it opened the opportunity for him to find a free kill. Eventually the trades did work out in favor of the attack, but then ultimately the defense and those anchors able to reposition to make life challenging for Arcade Esports, who now find themselves on the side of defense and electing to go to basement for this opening round. Reinforcements and some of these operators suggesting that it is going to be pretty aggressive on the top floor and surrounding areas. Lots of traps on offer here, so 6 targets need to be mindful.
Did need a little bit more help though for Azes and Loyalith, and where that comes from, hard to say. You know, a tough game for Wizards so far, but he has shown quality in previous matches. Same with Snow. On the flip side, if you're 6 targets, you're pretty content with the output you've got from Sword in his Tier 1 debut, 6-5. It's been lively, hasn't been scared to take peeks and take fights, which is a really good sign. You're not going to come out of the gates in your very first game, go drop 20, but if you can just be active and try and make these plays and feel confident in the server, well, that's already first step done in your initiation at this level. Even then, just didn't look apprehensive to push in, open up, try and take the fight. Even if he loses it, it's good signs. And he does lose it. He'll learn from these moments and get better, but it's the first step is to not come in and be scared, and clearly he's not shown that.
Yeah, a lot of positive intent, which is great. Kind of got caught on an island in that round. Rest of the team was elsewhere, not able to offer support. And with that top floor setup from Arcade, it was pretty simple for Saro to waltz alongside, get the kill on Vert. Karma with a good lurk potential here. Through blue.
Only 3 site.
Play up close.
Who's
hard
still
right.
top floor? And if you didn't have these 2 top floor, he wouldn't be able to get in this position for the free kill onto Loyalith. And so now it's 2 side. So Saro and Snow have to be pretty quick to react. Good kill from Wizard. He does react to shut down the immediate threat. He's still got Saro top main stairs. Logistics as well for Snow. Nico goes down over towards Jim. It was the Frost mat, and it will be his demise. Arcade will take the round. A strange one.
Yeah.
A 2-3 split, like, I mean, it's worked, but it did leave that gap for Karma.
Yeah, the round plays out differently if Karma gets 2, but unfortunately it was a good response there from the anchors on site from Arcade. And 6 targets didn't properly or fully commit to the clear, and it left the second floor in quite a strong position. 1 versus 3. Not impossible.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, you're a bit slow there. That's okay.
Yeah, a little bit slow. Oh, I didn't expect him to just sit there for half a second. He took a little nap. I mean, the other thing as well in the round too is, so Arcade bring a 2-3 split, that's fine. Punisher. Karma's clearly found a gap in blue. He could have easily called the troops and just said, hey, I'm kind of deep blue here. We know there's 2 up above. Why don't we just kind of group up, hit site directly? And I think that could have really worked out for them. More bodies kind of playing around what Karma wanted to do in the round. And it almost goes back a little bit too to the very first engagement with Sword. As he said, he was kind of by himself. Everyone else is around the map doing their thing. You need to be playing as a team. Bring numbers to these fights. If Sword had a little bit of help, they could have won that battle around main stairs in that kitchen hallway. And the same thing as well with Karma over towards blue. You have an extra player or 2 there. You can maybe win those gunfights, get site control. And it's the same as well up above. I mean, they just took every fight they took, they were outnumbered. 6 targets were way too split on the attack.
Yeah.
10 seconds left before insertion.
We'll see if that teamwork and coordination can be improved upon here for the 8th round in the bedroom. And they're going to play very, very, very old school, pretty bog standard lineup on the side of the attack, bit of util clearance. They'll play the ace hard breach, often regarded as the best. Twitch is an intriguing inclusion. I think the shock drains are going to be particularly effective here, given the mirror especially, but Fenrir by extension as well. And so King will have his platter pretty full this round in ensuring that his util clearance is appropriate. Saro freebie? Not freebie. Caught. Didn't hear Karma, who hits another successful lurk.
I think that's going to be probably how they end up winning this, right? If you 6 targets on the attack, the likes of Karma just slipping through, getting these early kills, advantages, and there's a second as well. Maybe a third coming up. No, Loyalth wins his battle. Finally shuts him down. Not done fighting just yet. It's Sword, though, that connects onto Az's. Loyalth has to force himself in towards Con. There's one on the window. Sword, another one. Shut down by Wizard, but he's now the solo. Up against 3 for 6 targets. And maybe about to be swung by Logistics. It will be King that converts, and 6T get their first attacking round of the half.
And they're back in the match now. They've been able to lock in. That immediately prompts a tactical timeout from Arcade. They've seen enough already in this second half. They want to try and put a halt to any potential momentum that could be built here by 6 targets. I think the biggest talking point is going to be, how do we deal with Karma on these lurks? What do we do to try and slow that down? Do we go more trap heavy? Do we fully invest in that regard? Do we just positionally change a little bit? What's the game plan here? Because that's now back-to-back rounds where he's been threatening.
He's a difference maker for sure, isn't he? He's the one that's unlocking things for 6 targets. And it's so difficult. You don't want to, as a team, certainly as defense, to say, well, how do we stop Karma? Siege is not that kind of game. It's just too difficult to put so much focus on one particular player when, especially, he's on the attack and he can enter from any direction, pick and choose where he wants to fight and how he wants to fight. You almost can't really put too much stock into it. It's more about what you're doing and how you're playing. What positions are you holding? How are we responding when he gets these early kills? I mean, for Syra, that's just poor timing. You even actually saw him holding that angle for a split second. Snow, just holding a bit more of an open angle rather than allowing him to push up, then swing on your terms. I'll tell you what, though, Sword is not going to die wondering in this match. 8 and 7. He's obviously having these deaths, but he's also getting the impact before it. He's got the most kills on the team. You're the substitute. This is your tier 1 debut. How do you then send him back to sub after this?
5 seconds left before.
He's been good, and he's actually been given the responsibility of playing some pretty key positions on both sides of the coin, on attack and defense. So defense especially, some good positive signs. And I guess a bit of a safer role here on the floor as he looks to counter, most notably, the Azami here in the 9th round. The Clash to be introduced into the lineup from the side of Arcade. Wonder where Arcade looks to pivot, and it's currently a focus over towards the main breach. As that Tobidabi almost gets caught. Very narrowly avoids that. It's another Karma lurk in through Garage. And almost netted himself another kill early on.
Drone activated.
Arcade, I think, is starting to just feel the pressure a little bit now from 6 targets and what they can do. The concern as well for me is that Arcade still have not won 2 rounds in a row. 6 targets have at least managed that, and in a game where it may be close, could go 7-5, that will quite literally be the difference. And pace slows down as well for the first time in this half. The first 2 rounds, opening kills at pre-2 minutes. I mean, this is a little slower. Loyalth, though, gets an angle, and it's on to Karma. While we're speaking about shutting him down, Loyalth will do just that. Good swing logistic through Con, finds the pick. And they can look to consolidate now, still with Wizard alive on that Clash. 5v4, time starting to dwindle in the second half of the round. Oh, it's just a swing from King into the site, captures out Snow, but Azza is quick with the trade from Bathroom. Ends up being really net neutral. 4v5 to 3v4, still the same task at hand for 6 targets.
Oh, it's Orion. Couple more to find, but the Clash in his face. And it's only a matter of time until Arcade are able to wrap up the round and silence 6 targets, you would assume. As
got that
is down. Sorry, with the safety of the clash to play behind.
I mean, he's on 1 HP. One body swing from Syro will do the job. Yeah, concerns not so much concern right now for Arcade in terms of being able to win the odd round. The concern is being able to win back-to-back rounds. They haven't done it yet, and so at 5-4, things look nice, things look calm. But 6TARGETS historically now go on and win this next one. No more clash as well. Available for Arcade. They did bring it only in that previous round, but certainly did have some effect, even if Wizard did get tagged up early. Was able to stay alive. Wasn't a lot strategically, though, from 6TARGETS in this round, to be honest. It was just kind of swing and hope. When they lost Karma, it almost felt like the life had been sucked out of them. And Karma's just playing the Ash. At this role, he's just got the license to go frag. It almost feels like that's their main trick up their sleeve, is to unleash Karma, but you've got to offer a little bit more strategically on the offense.
Attackers have located
As
a
a
bomb.
collective.
Well, it's been a scrappy affair so far, but it is, in a strange way, quite tantalizing between these two at the moment. Really is either team's
10 seconds to go.
potential here to go on and 6TARGETS.
Well,
pull
again,
away
you
from
don't want to lose
regulation
this
win,
match.
but yeah,
you
I mean,
lose
you're
this
throwing
match,
everything
how
at
do you
it.
make top 4?
Yeah, you're throwing everything you've got at it from here.
Use a bomb.
Okay, just trailing by the 1. Any points will do, but ideally 3. Cash CCTV for the 10th round as we enter double digits and the pressure starts to compound. Syro over towards Secret, pretty aggro from him. Immediately contested on the upside down rappel. I'll be keeping a keen eye as well, a keen side eye on Karma over the course of this round as well to see if once again he looks to go for a lurk. It seems like Arcade are maybe being a little more proactive about that with the play over towards Secret, for instance. Syro having the responsibility to ensure that no one sinks through dirt. Karma drops Logi though in the meantime, and the rest of 6TARGETS posturing for a con-side hit.
Watch this! Reload!
And again, even though it's only played A2, both teams 0-1 coming into this game. If you end up 0-2, especially if, you know, a team like Arcade who've still got to play EP and Chiefs. 6TARGETS already played EP, but then don't certainly want to be losing this one to Arcade, a team that's more likely statistically to be in the bottom 4. This game's got to be winning. The pressure's certainly on for both teams. Nitro's cell will explode, but doesn't hit anyone on the other side of that wall. Karma hits the headshot. No surprise. He's been the firepower for 6TARGETS and shuts down Arcade's own firepower man in Loyalith. Advantage for 6T. No response just yet until then. Snow hits the shot and gets rid of Karma, but Nico able to trade him immediately. Syro needed to win that battle against King. Allows him into stock on the buck and do damage from down below. And now it's a 4 versus 2. Huge favor for 6TARGETS. As Asses falls to King, it's match point coming up for 6TARGETS unless Wizard can clutch up from here. There's one and there's a second with the knockdown onto Orion. He's flamed off at the moment from pushing up top red. A sword in cash will not allow him up further. The debutant denies him the ability to clutch, and it's 2 match points.
Wow, that's a massive round. 6TARGETS making it count. I really love the con-side approach that they elected to go for. Some good early pressure in towards the site, and they coupled that with King down below. Really, really good work on the buck. Typically, you're posturing him below to maybe find something on the vert. But given the nature of Arcade reading into it and wanting to contest, he was then able to find kills down below on the horizontal. A couple of sharp shots landing brings him up to a total of 10. Now the kill leader for 6TARGETS. 2 opportunities to close it, but it's Basement to stand in their way on the first of those chances.
And I think basement should be a pretty good site here for Arcade. They've only given up 2 rounds straight to 6 targets once so far this game, so I think we might get our first 7-5.
10 seconds left.
I'm hoping we get our first, well, at least 6-5, and then whatever happens from there,
7-4.
you know, whatever happens from there, I don't mind. But desperately want to see Arcade win this round to give us our longest match of the stage so far. In a game as well that's seen little multi-kills too, just the 2, one from Asus and one from Sword. No plants either as well, guys, in this entire match. Not a single plant. So they've kind of gone equal in 2 of the big metrics. The one that stands out though is opening kills in favor of 6 targets. Add 1 more to the list. Karma beat me to the punch.
Yeah, well, the lurk's been reactivated. Good impact early in the round, and losing the keeper barrier regen for the remainder is going to make on-site anchoring increasingly challenging for the defense. They still do have the Fenrir, the Goyo to play off. Grismots as well will be deployed, and the mirror windows, of course, left standing, but those 2 also being countered by Karma. So big impact from the Ash so far in this round. And the question now remains, can Arcade Esports find a way to grind out this round and extend the match for a little while longer? It looks pretty rough from here.
Well, the problem is when you're playing this 4 stack now, previously 5 stack, you don't get given the opportunity to find a kill yourself. And so when it goes the other way, yes, you can win 4v5 basement. You don't want to think about trying to do anything too silly, pushing up main stairs or, you know, going for a secret flank. You also know that you're not really going to get that 5 down any lower anytime soon. Unless 6 targets make a mistake, overpush bot main stairs too early into a nitro, and that could be on the cards. Wizard has been thinking about it. They do have the ping. They know that Karma is bot main at the moment. Grismot mine and good combinations. Lovely play from Snow.
Yeah.
Knew that Karma was tucked in the corner, used the Grismot mine to get the concuss, swing kill. This forces a drop from King. But a little overzealous 6 targets did not need to respond in that fashion. King with a solo drop gives his life away. And it's literally what I was just saying, guys. I mean, unless 6 targets give you the opportunity to get back into this round, and a chance goes begging. Sword couldn't fully connect. Lawyer left though does go down. And then a shot in the back onto Azaz. This has been a strange old basement to close this game out, but it seems as if it will be closed. 6 targets just kept on going and eventually overwhelmed the defense. There was fight back from Arcade, but certainly not enough. And we do not get 7-5. 7-4 we'll have to do once again.
Oh, wow, they threw everything at that final round 6 times. They somehow were able to make it stick. Good result for them and their prospects towards potentially a top 4 finish this stage. Unfortunately, on the other side of the coin for Arcade, they're now in a rough spot for the remainder of this group stage.
Yeah, rough spot for Arcade. That's the biggest takeaway from this match. It's the way we build it. It was 2 teams that started 0-1. You don't want to start 0-2 for Arcade. You've played Man LFO. You've played 6 targets. Lost. You've still got to play Chiefs. You've still got to play Enterprise. The reality of the situation is now you're going to have to steal a game from one of the big hitters. That seems unlikely. And while they showed some good promise in this match, they did some good things. And clearly, I don't think that the gap between 6 targets and Arcade is that extensive, but extensive enough that they've lost. And for 6 targets, well, they needed that one. After losing to Enterprise yesterday, they are able to bounce back, get a win. They're on the board. Their goal, of course, will be to make playoffs. This will go a long way in helping.
Yeah, good even spread statistically from 6 targets in this particular matchup. Just the 1 player trailing below 100 EPS. And I mean, the standout for me ended up being probably Sword in the end, right? On his debut, had a phenomenal day at the office, big impact defensively in some strong power positions and made his opportunities count. And then on the side of attack was given, you know, pretty key responsibility, the Flores on a couple of rounds and even the Deimos in the last, for instance, and he made his mark on the match. And yeah, excited to see if there's more of him on offer for the rest of the stage.
Yeah, I mean, it's the interesting proposition now. Whenever a substitute, you know, comes in to replace, and we don't know all the facts. We don't know if it's maybe a straight up, full-time call into the main roster or what it may be, a one-off. We don't have all of those facts, but it's hard to look past, say, just sending him back to the sub position when he puts in a performance such as this. And it's not just the fact that he got the 10 kills, because clearly, he still had 8 deaths. His cost percentage wasn't the highest. What I liked the most, though, was he didn't look scared. He just took the opportunity, he said, okay, well, I'm playing tier 1 Siege for the first time tonight. How am I going to play it? I'm not just going to sit back, try and get a read for the game, play slow. What does my team want to do? He just kind of went and just played his own game and clearly had some success. On the flip side for Arcade, obviously a rough result for them, 0-2 now, and a long way to go for the stage, but also a long way to get to playoffs.
Yeah, again, no one knows how the rest of the stage is going to transpire. There's every world in which there's a couple of upsets that are favorable towards them in their potential catch-up back towards the top 4, but at this point, it's a really, really tough start for them. They'll need to scrap points most likely against one of those 3 big teams, whether it be an overtime or an outright win, to kind of make up for the start of this stage. So we'll need to see some big development from them. Unfortunate for them, this match was close. Even despite being a 7-4, it was really, really close, and I think 6TARGETS were just able to capture a little bit of momentum, more so towards the tail end. So I don't think they could beat themselves too much based on this individual performance. It's more so going to be towards the tail end of the stage. Are they better than they are right now?
I think in the game itself, when you give up, you played 11 rounds of Siege, you got 3 opening kills. That already sets you naturally on the back foot. That's a big split, 3-8. So more often than not, you're playing 4v5. More often than not, Karma's getting those opening kills, and he's just dominating you early on. He had a 5-2 scoreline when it came to those entries. So he was in 7 of the 11 rounds, and he went 5-2. Funnily enough, actually only went 9-10 overall, but clearly his impact was in the early portion of the game. Yeah. And then you just didn't really have anything yourself that you were dominant at. You, like your opponent, didn't get plants down. You, like your opponent, didn't really have multi-kill rounds. And so ultimately you end up in a situation where there may be only one category that you're kind of really losing in. That's the difference in the end in a close game, as you kind of coined it. As we go to our recap of today's schedule, we continue the domination through Playday 1 yesterday, then into Playday 2 with a 7-3, 7-2, 7-3, 7-4. 7-4 still the closest scoreline that we've had across the 2 days of Siege.
Yeah, if you had have told me that at the beginning of the stage, that we wouldn't see 12 rounds played in a match, nor overtime across the first couple of play days, I would have been a little shocked and surprised. Given some of the fixturing, expected several of these games, not just in Playday 2, but Playday 1, to perhaps be a little closer. But I think the quality of the Siege overall has seen an uptick and is only going to improve as the teams ready and prepare themselves for potential best of 3s and the playoffs to come with 2 slots on the line. So yeah, OCE continues to excite, and that fight for the top 4 continues to get more intriguing as we get through these Playdays.
It took a little bit to get this interview ready to go, but excited for it. Sword coming in for a chat, fresh off of his tier 1 debut. Congratulations on the win, Sword. Congratulations as well on the debut. Welcome on in. Firstly, I just want to say, how are you feeling coming into tonight? And talk us through your situation, substitute now into the team. Is it a one-off? I don't even know how they would send you back. You played so well tonight.
I don't really know how many games I'm going to get. So I'm just taking each game by game and seeing how I go. Trying to perform to the best of my ability and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you played exceptionally tonight. Talk us through how it felt inside of the server. Did you see a noticeable uptick in terms of intensity in Tier 1? Did you just feel immediately comfortable? What was it like?
Well, they just played like they do in ranked normally. Just bait, and take forever. But yeah, it felt good to get the first kill in the first round. It eased a lot of nerves.
Just to sort of learn a little bit more about you, mate, what's your kind of goals, careers, ambition? Is it to be obviously doing this full time over the next few years and to really, kind of emulate what we see from the, the EP boys and the Bliss of the old days, etc., and going international and really making something out of this? Or is it just kind of see where it takes you?
I plan on doing this whilst I'm in uni and maybe beyond if I'm good at the game. But yeah. Basically,
I think that's the right approach usually. Yeah, usually that's the OCE model, right? Yeah, start early, start while you're young, do uni, and then if you've made it, you haven't, then off to do whatever you want from uni. But ultimately for you now, obviously, as you said, you're not sure how many games you're going to get. What does that discussion now look like going into next week? Because clearly you got the rest of the week until next week. Is it going to be discussions about you staying in this team? Was it a one-off coming into tonight?
Well, I don't really know because we don't scrim. We just turn up on game day.
Okay, well, that's
like
bad.
2 hours
No,
before, we'll run either ranked or TDMs, have some fun with it. But yeah.
Well, I think
not
you guys
known
should
to
start
scrim.
scrimming. Let's change that up. I think scrimming absolutely should be something that you guys do. But look, honestly, thank you so much for coming in, having a chat. Is there anything you'd like to say? I'll give you the floor.
Can I shout out just a couple names real quick while I'm here?
Mate, if we let Jay Kenner shout out, you can shout out.
Thank you to Tim Karma for helping me get this opportunity. I appreciate it. He took me under his wing. Thank you to Goofed for the motivation before tonight's game. Jack Scurry and Jay for R6. And that's about it. And to all the haters, I proved you wrong. About it.
Wait, how have you got haters, bro?
Oh, I got haters.
All right, well, everyone does. Obviously, we're not your haters tonight. We loved what we saw from you. Best of luck with the rest of your career and the rest of the stage.
Thank you, thank you. Have a good one.
So Sword making his debut in Tier 1. And I'll tell you what, look, it's not a 20 bomb, but 10's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little concerned and shocked that these guys aren't scrimming with 2 slots on the line, boys. What are you doing? But a good result tonight, and maybe they'll start scrimming towards the tail end if the top 4 looks likely. We have the MVP, though, decided for tonight. And if I'm not mistaken, Neptune was the selection. And indeed, he was a 141 EPS. And I think even more impressive than that, it actually, to me, stands out the 80% cost alongside 4 multis. So he had massive impact across a large portion of the game tonight.
Yeah, very dominant win, of course, against Barbie Boys, and he was a big factor in that. 80% cost, I think, is one of the better metrics to really look at in terms of the overall round by round. How much impact are you really bringing to the game?